What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Off the Cuff. It's been a while since I actually said the name of the series, but if you're unfamiliar, it's just a series where I just give my early thoughts / first impressions of a game I just played. And the most recent game is Fire Emblem Engage. And overall, I like the game, but obviously I have some things I'm not as big of a fan of, to be nice. So let's start with the good. First, the good. This game looks beautiful. Games like this really surprise me of how strong the Switch really is, or how good the Switch can really look. This game, it almost sometimes, like, the opening almost feels like a real anime. Fire Emblem has always been known graphically to look good, and this game by any means does not disappoint. So Nintendo killed it as usual in that department. Something else I like is the fact that you get to see familiar faces again. And one of the poster boys for Fire Emblem was Marth. For the longest time, we associated Marth and Roy with Fire Emblem, but it hasn't been since the original games where we have actually seen them inside the game. So it's cool in this game that you get to actually play the spirits of previous Fire Emblem protagonists. And so you actually get to learn who these characters are. So it's great for a lot of people, including myself, that haven't played the original Fire Emblem or the older ones, that we can finally understand and see who these popular characters are. The third thing is the gameplay is fun and slick, and the engage mechanic is really cool. It's kind of cool that, and based on the engage mechanic works, and I'm early into the game, so I don't know how much better it can get, but from what I see, you're basically able to fuse with one of the previous heroes. So in this case, since I'm early in the game, I get to fuse with Marth, and I'm able to use some of his abilities that he had in the older game. And it's kind of cool that you kind of have like a super form where you can go all out. The animation looks cool. It's just kind of cool seeing both characters work together. I love it, and I'm excited to see how much cool and better it gets, and if other characters also get their own form of engaging with other spirits of other characters. And the last thing is that the voice acting, I guess you can consider it good. It's not a bad though, but the game is voice acted, which is awesome. And the voices aren't terrible. Also, they're not good, but they're not terrible though. I'll give them credit where it's due, right? I've heard a lot worse voice acting from Nintendo. I'm kind of looking at you, Breath of the Wild. But this game's voice acting, it was tolerable. I didn't totally cringe listening to it, for the most part. But obviously, this game is not perfect like any other game, so let's go with the bad. I feel like the characters are painfully generic. If you're familiar with any type of anime series, these characters feel like straight ripped out of a generic anime character. You got the protagonist that wants to prove themselves and is so honorable and so goody two shoes, and then you got the knight that's sworn to protect them that kind of acts that way too, that's very boring and stoic. And then you get the childish children that act silly, and it just, again, it's nothing wrong with having those characters, but like they feel like they lack nuance. They lack character. That's what it really is. Like, they just don't feel like they're their own selves, right? Like, I don't think there's nothing wrong with a stereotype of a character, maybe remixing a little, but they just feel very, I don't know, plain. But again, I'm not too far into the game, so maybe they grow as characters, but without spoiling anything, there's a death with one character, and I personally did not feel anything because this character felt so generic. I just feel like another character will take their place. Another thing that's just so painful, and if you play previous Fire Emblem games, this is nothing new, but there's just so much goddamn talking. Like, at least it's more tolerable with voice acting that you don't actually have to sit down and read through it. But my god, like, how much do you have to talk about? Like, I feel like things can really be summed up way faster and way easier. But I think maybe they just see it as, oh, this is how part of Fire Emblem is, right? Granted, this game, the combo, the scenes, the cutscenes, whatever you want to call it, they're not as long as previous games, so I'll give credit where it's due, but still an issue that Fire Emblem needs to fix. But all in all, this game was an enjoyable experience. I had fun playing this game. I'm excited to see what else I'm going to discover. If you can kind of ignore the fact that the graphics don't look the best when it's not pre-rendered, like, the game overall is enjoyable, and if you're new to Fire Emblem, I think this is a great game to jump into. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, see you next time. Peace.